This is your dose of daily market wisdom with master trader Nick Santiago. Starting from humble beginnings, Nick has been beating the markets for over 2 decades. He shares with you his take on the profitable trades that will have you moving towards financial freedom in no time at all. To see an in-depth review of his track record and much more, go to inthemoneystocks.com.
Welcome. This is your daily dose of daily market wisdom with master trader Nick Santiago. I'm Kerry Lutz. Today's 123.23 show 457, and the January effect is continuing, Nick.
It is continuing, Kerry. And again, a lot of people, got shaken out last week with Options X. And like I always say, it's a week of institutional game playing. But the major indexes seem to be holding up fine today, really moving up right where they left off on that Friday rally. So as you know, when you get a strong Friday rally, it'll often signal a short-term strength, early in the next week. So we'll see if these markets can push higher as we go throughout the week. But so far today, I have to say, no real problems. Semiconductors are an industry group that I follow. Right off the bat, I saw they had strength this morning, and they are acting well right now. And the major indexes are pretty much flying high right now.
All right. Well, earnings season is kicking into full gear this week.
Yes, we're going to have companies such as Microsoft, 3M, Travelers, Freeport McMoran. I mean, dozens of household names will report. Dozens upon dozens will report this week. Next week, it's even busier. This is when we will get a real picture of how these companies are doing. If you look last week, we had primarily bank stocks reporting, and they don't really give you a great picture because there's a lot of accounting that gets done in those bank earnings. But now we're going to see how many leading sectors are doing well, and what kind of industry groups are outperforming others, which companies are looking better than others. But I don't predict a great earnings season for corporations, so we'll see how this plays out.
But the game continues because what they've done is cut back all the estimates, all the earnings estimates, to lower than what they're really going to come out at. So then the headline is, Apple performs better than experts' expectations, and the stock goes up, right? Yeah, beat expectations. That's right. That's the game, right?
That's right. Yeah, and that's why you get so many companies each and every quarter sandbagging on their numbers or their guidance. They never give you the higher end, right? Because they always want to come out a little bit better, perform a little bit better. But what will happen now is that a lot of investors will be listening for the guidance. So these companies that beat expectations, so-called beat expectations, and they have better guidance, they'll probably get rewarded. Companies that beat expectations and don't guide higher, probably not so much. So we'll see how that plays out. But that is the game.
The headline should be Apple beats diminished expectations, right?
That should be the headline, yes.
Right.
But of course it won't be.
Because that's the game, of course. Hey, so we're seeing a little precious metals pullback today, huh?
Yeah, gold is backing off a little bit. I mean, it's not down that much. Gold has had a tremendous run. I'm seeing it down about 0.4%. But what is getting hit today is silver. Silver's down about 4% today. That's a pretty big drop for silver in a single session, especially as strong as it has been. But Kerry, I've been waiting for silver to pull back, and, patiently, it's finally starting to do it. So I'm very happy to see it. And, soon enough, I'll be back into silver. But today I'm happy to see silver drop 4%. And that's how these things play out. When they go too far, even though they look like they're never going to pull back again, they will. And that is a good lesson for all investors, especially if you're new to watching these kind of charts.
What do you think silver can pull back to at this particular juncture, Nick?
I mean, a natural pullback can, bring you back down possibly to $20, somewhere around there, 19. It gets down to anywhere in that range. I'm probably going to be all over it. But, for me now, it's more about the pattern than it is about the price. Because, silver's gone from 1740 all the way up to, 24.5. A natural pullback is, 2021. I would not rule that out. Now, I hope to see that.
Yeah, well, it's kind of predictable because it didn't break 25, right?
Yeah, but it went up so quickly. I mean, the move was so fast. 25, as you know, Kerry, is a big round number, right? People always look at that 25, 50, 75. They love to break things up in the quarters. But you're right. You didn't even challenge 25. So that's the funny thing. It got, I believe, as high as 24.77. So it never even challenged the 25 level or even pierced it a little bit. A lot of times you get those kind of moves, but we didn't even get that. And I've been just sitting on the sidelines now for, over a month waiting for this to pull back. But today it looks like it's underway. Options X is over with. That was last week. So hopefully we're going to get our long-awaited correction here.
And if we look at gold, all right, gold in the 1900s, what was its high? 1950 something, 55, I think, a couple of years before I was born.
Gold got as high. Gold got as high as 1939 just 2 days ago. So just on Thursday, gold was trading at 1939. And, right now it's on a big pullback sitting at 1920. But, I would say, gold is another one that's had a meteoric rise. So it does need to pull back and go into a natural pullback back to 1800 is, would be healthy. If it breaks there, then, we're going way lower. So just be aware of that.
But the point is, it didn't break 2000. And, well, there's still time. This could just be a gentle pullback, but it didn't break 2000. And that should be your indication that there's going to be a pullback, right?
That's a very good point. And I do agree with you. Me, I look at things a little bit different because I look at how they're going up into a resistance point. And as you know, Kerry, I've been wrong. I said 1875 to 1880 was my upside. And, it blew through that. But commodities, especially precious metals, they have a tendency to overshoot always. So I would say, yes, gold never even got close to challenging, not even 1950. So that is a good indication that a pullback is needed here. And pullback, I think, probably gets underway shortly.
All right. The headline for today is Nick was wrong.
I like it.
Okay, well, that's it. Hey, so Bitcoin. So a couple of things. There's been a swift decision about transfers for crypto. Can you just explain that to us?
Yeah. So Friday, I think it was Friday night, maybe Saturday morning. I'm doing, going through some of the headlines, and I see Swift will no longer process currency transactions from bank accounts to crypto exchanges with a value of fewer than $100,000. And that goes into effect on February 1st. I mean, this is really going to hurt the small crypto trader, right? I mean, unless the person's got 100K or more, I mean, they're not going to be able to get this stuff processed. In my opinion, that just tells me that digital currency is around the corner from the government. That's my take on it. Maybe other people will argue with me, but I think that's what this is ushering in. And again, we talked about the government not allowing Chuck E. Cheese to use certain coins in their machines to play a video game. They put people in jail for printing their own silver and gold coinage. And again, government has got their nose in this one too. So, we'll see how it plays out, but that's my interpretation.
Remember that old saying, don't steal, the government hates competition, right?
They do. And the funny thing is that they're not going to allow private cryptos to compete. And that's what it comes down to. And, we've been talking about this really since day one. And, here it is. It's here now. I think this is the start of it. It's coming. And, again, this is how these things play out. A lot of people got addicted or used to, these digital wallets and things like that. You know what? I saw a headline today, and don't quote me on this because I read it very quickly on my newswire early this morning, probably around 6 o'clock, 6:30, was that banks are going to start competing with PayPal on these digital wallets too.
I saw that.
So
yes.
that right there is, that is just talking to us. And again, crypto, Bitcoin in particular, has had a tremendous run recently, and it's up big again today. But be careful when that rug gets pulled out. This thing is going down to 11,000, and I'll be doing the math later this week, maybe even lower.
And you raise a really interesting point. One of, to me, the major benefits and perhaps risks of crypto is that you didn't need an exchange to hold crypto. You can hold it in a wallet, and you can make that wallet pretty impenetrable as far as hackers go and such. So the point is, you could actually hold large sums of currency, for lack of a better term, in a non-institutional custodian. You didn't need a custodian for your money, and then you could just inject it into the system when you wanted. That perhaps, Nick, and we never really talked about it, but that is perhaps the greatest threat of cryptos is, and I know people have talked about it being your own bank and all that, but you have to understand the impact of not needing a government-sponsored entity to hold
Cut
your
out the
capital.
middleman.
Yeah, exactly. And
I mean,
control everything. Everything goes with it.
yeah, I mean, anytime I've gone, I used to live in Europe. Anytime I've traveled abroad, no matter where it was, Europe, Asia, or even another country, I'd always have to stop at ABN AMRO and hand them my dollars, and then they'd be the middleman and they transact. Here, that's what crypto did. And we did talk about it, Kerry. We talked about it. I said back a long, long time ago, I said, there's no way you're cutting out the middleman. There's no way they're going to allow this for that long. And we're seeing it now. It's coming to an end.
Hey, you're cutting out the middleman, and you're cutting out your involuntary partner, your forced partner, Uncle Sam or whomever, whatever government you live under is your partner. And whether you like it or not.
And don't forget this too. How are they going to tax you? I mean, let's face it. Governments are on the hunt for taxes. Let's not say they're not. They are. I mean, just look at the recent IRS hirings that have taken place. So how are they going to tax you? If you have that in a secure digital wallet that really cannot be penetrated, how are they ever going to tax you?
Yeah, I feel their pain, Nick. I feel their pain. Well, that is it for today. But but before we conclude, in the face of all this, Bitcoin is back over 22,000, heading for 23,000. Temporary bounce. Is this to jack it up to get the bag holders in?
I think so. I honestly think this is the mother of all dead cat bounces.
All right, the mother of all dead cat bounces. We will soon see. In any event, make sure you go over to Nick's site, inthemoneystocks.com, sign up for his service, see how he's beaten the indices, the big boys for decades. The Twitter feeds at ITMS, at Nick Santiago01, at Kerry Lutz. Emails are welcome, kl@kerrylutz.com. Put your comments up on YouTube by all means. I've got a few of them that we're going to go over tomorrow, Nick, or on Wednesday rather, that were quite hysterical, insightful. So keep them coming. Nick, we'll talk to you on Wednesday.
Sounds good.